Mr. Firth, there's a few things I want to remind you about before I ask you some questions. With respect to parliamentary privilege, which every member enjoys in this committee, it's a contempt of Parliament, sir, to mislead this committee by giving a false statement or false evidence, to refuse, unless related to cabinet confidence, to answer any questions, or to fail to produce documents that this committee might require someone to produce. So although you are not sworn on a holy book, this parliamentary privilege binds your conscience and binds your responses to always provide us with the truth. Do you understand that, sir? Mr. Firth, do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Firth, in light of all of the criminal allegations that have been levied against you and Dalian and Corodex over the last several weeks, specifically the following offenses have been in the spotlight: the offense of theft over $5,000, forgery, fraud over $5,000, impersonation, all of which, if prosecuted by indictment by a prosecutor in this country, could result upon conviction of someone serving a sentence greater than 2 years. You aware of that, sir?
Yes, I am.
And under this cloud of serious and significant criminal suspicion, have you retained legal counsel?
Yes, I have.
And has legal counsel, without me asking what legal counsel has informed you, has legal counsel impressed upon you the importance of telling the truth?
Yes, they have.
Has legal counsel instructed you not to answer certain questions?
No, they have not.
Thank you. One area that you have been presented with, sir, that gives me great discomfort as a parliamentarian is the issue regarding resumes. And quite frankly, sir, whether you call it a mistake, whether you call it a lack of intent, whether you refer to it as an embellishment, in my respectful submission, sir, that is a lie. And no one believes you. No one believes you in this room. We have national reporters in this room, and I doubt very much that they believe you, because your story is so fantastic. It's simply worthy of unbelief. You, sir, at all material times only received one version of the CV from both Ritika Dutt and Mr. Amir Moravej. One CV, one resume that was not ambiguous, that was not confusing, and you took it upon yourself to manipulate both of those resumes to ensure that Bottler qualified for government funding. You did that without the express permission or consent of both Bottler's executives, and in so doing, sir, you have committed a serious criminal offense. Do you have anything to say about that, or are you going to continue on this line that I made a mistake?
Yeah, I'm going to tell the truth, and it was a genuine mistake because there are multiple versions of the resume. They may have given me one, but as a recruiter, you make different versions of resumes, and the wrong one was sent through.
Sir, who made multiple versions? You or somebody else?
I did. I started my career as a recruiter, so I'm
on earth,
just
sir.
a way of...
Sir, why on earth would compel you to modify one version of the resume received by both individuals? Why did you have to modify it and create different versions without their consent or permission? Why?
Because accompanying every resume going to the federal government is a matrix, an evaluation matrix. That is a score that you get to be compliant, to be a certain category on the contract.
lied
resume.
to ensure that they qualified. You embellished.
I'm afraid
You
that
manipulated the facts.
I'm afraid that is our time. You can continue on the next round. Mr. Brock, for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Firth, I'm sure that the millions of Canadians who either are watching this or will learn about this in the press or seek out the transcript of this particular meeting will be very, very grateful that the RCMP has access to this particular evidence. What I can understand is why you would take active steps in misleading this particular committee and Canadians with respect to your role as it relates to fraud and forgery with respect to modifying without permission and consent these transcripts, but the resumes to the government. What I can't understand is why you would deliberately lie to this committee on a very innocent question that was put to you by my colleague, Mr. Barrett, when he asked you if you knew whether or not Mr. Cameron McDonald from the CBSA had a cottage. And you said no. Do you want to reflect on that answer?
Yeah, Mr. McDonald has never referred to it as a cottage. It's a chalet. It's not a cottage.
For that clarification, Mr. Firth. Are you kidding me?
That is the honest.
Are you saying you knew all along that he had something that was equivalent to a cottage or a cabin, but because a different word was used to refer to it, that you had the license to say, I don't know?
You were asking.
Is that what you want us to believe?
You were asking a specific question about a cottage. I answered honestly. He has never mentioned that he had a cottage.
This guy hasn't said anything honest since he's been here.
But he's got a cabin, doesn't he?
A chalet.
A chalet. Well, why didn't you offer that?
Because that was not the question that was asked.
I see. I see. So you have a very limited ability in terms of telling this committee the truth. Is that correct, Mr. Firth?
No, I'm answering
because the RCMP
correctly.
is going to have a field day when they come to interview you.
That's right.
I answered the question honestly with the question that was posed in front of me.
I see. Well, let's ask you some more questions then. Have you ever had or claimed to have influence on any government officials?
No, I have not.
Do you remember, sir, some of the allegations that you have probably read about by Bottler, that they've actually taped conversations with you? Hours and hours of conversations with you? Do you want to reflect on that question again?
No, I've seen everything that you've said. Everything that was in the newspaper is what I've read.
Well, sir, I'll remind you what you said on audio tape that has been recorded. You told Bottler during the very first call on November the 8th, 2019, these are your words, quote, so we have essentially the ear of the president right now of CBSA, which is, I guess, really the equivalent of the minister or like the deputy minister, and my client who is leading, he's a very high executive responsible for innovation, cloud, end of quote. Another quote, for the next step of getting the proposal over to the president because this will land on his desk 100% like this is going, you know, above the ADM level. If that's not influence or claiming to have influence on any government official, sir, I don't know what is. So I'm going to ask you again, do you want to be truthful or not to this committee? Or do you want to continue to lie that you did not exaggerate or claim that you had this great influence over officials at the CBSA? Yes or no?
I was working with one person who identified...
Answer the question. Let's start with that. Answer the question. Yes or no? Do you agree that this is your words that you uttered to Bottler on November 8th, 2019, bragging about your influence on government officials? Do you accept that or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.